Welcome to the Traveling Perspectives podcast. In this episode, I talk with my friend and college roommate, Scott. Scott and I have been friends for 7 years now, and we've seen each other grow and navigate through our young adult years. It was actually a conversation I had with Scott that gave me the realization that I needed a change from the corporate environment I previously worked in. I haven't thanked him for that yet, so I'll take this time before we get into the podcast to say thank you, Scott, for helping me realize that I'm in control of my life, and it's time for me to start putting action behind my words. Now, here is Scott's perspective.
Yo,
there he is.
Yeah, I don't know why I went onto the Google one. Like, I opened Safari, and these computers think they're so fucking smart, man. They think they know what you want to do already. So It was like gave me the link like on my home screen.
Oh, okay.
Of course, but it was the wrong one.
Yeah, I had an interview earlier today, and they did the same thing, so no worries.
It like gave you the suggested link, and I trusted that shit, man. But
sometimes you trust the technology, you just can't.
Oh, yeah. Blue boy.
Is that blue?
Right. Yeah, this is blue boy. I don't allow him on my desk anymore. So.
Oh no. Why not? What happened?
Because he sheds everywhere, dude. That's like the worst part about him. He just sheds.
About his existence.
Yeah, it's so bad. And like, oh, dude, I got a new computer. I got a new MacBook.
Oh, nice.
Like, because I'm starting school in a couple weeks and everything. So I'm like, I don't want his hair like in my MacBook.
We gotta set some standards around here.
Yeah, man. Set some boundaries. Like, I've let him go everywhere in my apartment, and now.
Not on the desk. Not today, Blue.
Not today.
Well, awesome, man. So I appreciate you coming back and doing this. So in the official first episode that I put out, I talked with my friend Haley, and at the very beginning, I talked about going on Instagram Live with a friend to do this. And for anyone listening, that is Scott. That is you. So thanks for doing this again. So we can, now that I have kind of figured out some sort of a groove, a little bit here.
How did the interview with her go?
Yeah, it went really well.
Stop. Sorry, man. I'm
just
ignore it.
It's just Blue. We'll just leave him. Yeah. No, it went really well. And then I had another one. I talked with Kana. Yeah. Throwback, right? Yeah. She had reached out about seeing my project, and I had been recommended her Instagram page because she did something pretty dope. She walked across Spain.
What?
Yeah. So there's something called the Camino de Santiago. And she like had a job in Pensacola, and like wasn't like kind of felt stuck like I did at Jimmy John's. And she heard about this thing through a video in high school, and then remembered it like, you know, a couple of years after graduating. I was like, did he just hop out the window?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm worried for Blue.
Just like ignore it, you know. It might keep happening, but
no, it's all good. So yeah, she like learned about it from watching a video in Spanish class in high school, and then decided that that's what she was going to do, and she walked like 500 plus miles across Spain. Yeah.
Where did she stay?
There was like these small little cottages that like backpackers and the hikers would go stay at.
Yeah.
And so I mean, she knows a lot more about it. Like I'm editing the podcast right now, so
so you already did her interview?
Yeah, I just did hers on Friday last week.
Cool.
So yeah, it was really good. Yeah, but I'll be posting it soon if you want to hear her full story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we kind of touched on it now, and I mean, we're probably gonna talk about the same stuff that we talked about before, but
just answer your questions, whatever.
we'll just do it, man. You know, no big deal. But yeah, let's. I guess we can start again where we met. So
where we met.
Where did we meet, Scott?
All right, we met at University of South Florida in the BBC, which was the Bulls business community. It was like a special little program for special little kids that wanted
special little kids
that wanted a little extra something in their business life. I don't know. They promised us like free advising and like priority class picking and like little stuff like that. So it was like it was kind of little, but I don't know. We kind of all formed our little friend group from being in the BBC, and just like that, you know, we took a lot of classes together. We lived together. We lived together just once.
Yeah, so we sophomore year we lived together in Magnolia. Yeah. So former roommates.
Yeah.
College friends for sure. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we can start like what do you remember about your college experience, or is there like a memory that stands out from like our friend group, or what's something that comes to mind?
When I think about like our friendship, I think about just like kind of just like finding ourselves, just like because we had, oh my god, dude, this cat. Like, we just had so much like extra time. Like I think of college as just like an abundance of just time, and I feel like we kind of just used that time and like bullshitting and just like hanging out. We were just like trying to figure shit out, and we were just hanging out and talk and chill and like play FIFA and shit.
Yeah.
Like I think of like parking garages and like beaches, like that kind of stuff where we used to hang out.
Yeah, skateboarding down the garage. Us and Jack, that was
on top of parking garages, just like,
yeah, that was good times.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you would have done differently about your college experience?
No, I don't think so. I always feel like exactly like what I went through and what I did was what I was supposed to do, you know, down to like the people I met and the things that we did. I mean, and also like nothing like super bad happened to me like in college. Like I had a generally good experience. So no, you know, I think everything I did was exactly what I was supposed to do, and put me, it was just my path, you know, it was just a path.
Yeah.
So, no,
I mean, that's,
I like my path, man. I appreciate like my process and my path.
No, that's awesome. And in college, you were a part of the band and the drum major of the band for all the football games and basketball throughout the year. So can you talk a little bit about that experience and what that was like for you?
Yeah. So first of all, for anyone that wouldn't know, drum major, I didn't play the drums. Drum major was like I was the conductor. I would stand in front of the band. I'd call the songs that we were playing, and I'd conduct them like with my hands. If you ever seen that. And I mean, and on top of that, like that was my position like on game day. And like when you saw me like in uniform, is that like I led the band, like I stood on the podium and stuff. But like beyond that, you know, that's like what you saw like game day. But what it really was like a leadership position. So like I ran rehearsals. I like that was my band. Like I taught the music, which I look back now and like think is kind of crazy because like I think my music knowledge is like nothing special or anything. Like I don't think I'm like an extraordinary musician by any means. And in my band there were many people that were better musicians than me, you know, like music majors, people that studied music and stuff. But what made me a good drum major and like qualified to teach that stuff was just like my leadership qualities. So it wasn't my music knowledge. Like I knew just enough about music to be able to teach, and then kind of like my leadership qualities took care of the rest.
Do
It
you
was
think
fun.
that yeah, did you think that you like always had those leadership skills, or that you like perfected them or worked on them in that role, or
I think I always had them. Yeah, I think I always had them. I always had like an ability to just like connect with anybody. Like just like looking back on like growing up and like the friends I had so many different kind of friends. Like I was friends with like nerdy, like quiet kids. I was friends with like athletic, like douchebags. And like I think like my ability was that anyone I was around and like hung out with just like felt comfortable to like be themselves. So if I was like with like an athletic douchebag, like they weren't like that like with me. Like we were just cool. Like they were just a regular kid like hanging out. So I kind of just like always had a ability to connect with people and make people feel like comfortable and just like at ease with me. And then I was drum major in high school too. And that's where I realized though that I was like a leader, because up until that point, like I didn't think of myself like that. You know, you don't think
was
like,
that
oh, I
your
have
first
these.
opportunity as a leader, or?
Yeah, definitely it was. And it was super new for me because like I grew up not super confident, man. Like I was heading into freshman year of high school, like I was 5 feet tall, like maybe 100 pounds. Like I was tiny. I was, you know what, like I wasn't like a leader. I wasn't like a big person, a big personality or anything. And then all of a sudden, like I kind of just like grew into myself my senior year, and got this big opportunity to like lead. And I mean, I was great at it. I loved it. And I loved serving people and like being able to like make an organization like worthwhile for people to be in, and like kind of be the face of that organization, which is what I felt I was. And like I made that program special for like a lot of people, for like a lot of the young kids in my band who like I still talk to and are still like in touch with. Like I made it special for them. Just, you know, I was the face, I was the guy up front. And
yeah. Well, that's really cool. It definitely shows like, you know, that's the kind of like impact that you want to have on people in your life, and like to be able to have people like look up to you and continue that like that impact on them and connection, like, you know, even after your time as a drum major, like in a leadership role. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it was really special. Here's a good story and like example of like leaving like a legacy, which was never like my goal. Like but it just happens sometimes. My senior year, I decided that like my band was going to get in a circle before every show, like every time we performed, and sing this song. And the song I picked was "Invincible" by Muse.
Okay.
Do you know that song? Do you know Muse?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Kind of like, it's so cheesy, man. It's so cheesy. But like, whatever. That's what I wanted to do. And I got like pushback from like other leaders in the group. Like, nah, like this is lame as fuck, basically. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, this is what we're doing. And I kind of like forced a new tradition like on the group. You know, like sometimes you got to force it a little bit. Like it can't be always so organic. I was like, nah, this is like what we're doing, and you guys are gonna do it because because that's what I'm saying.
Because that's what's happening.
That's what's happening. And they did it. And because I said they were. And you know, we did it all year and we loved it and blah, blah, blah. And then they did it all the years after I graduated. And my parents told me a story after the Parkland shooting. Like they had a big vigil, like in the park, like the whole city and like whole community like met in the park.
Mm-hmm.
And like during that vigil, there was a group of band kids that got together in a circle. This is like 6 or 7 years after 4, 4 or 5, whatever, way long gone. Yeah. After I graduated, like I don't know anyone at that school anymore. Mm-hmm. And they get in a circle and they sing Invincible, you know, and they still sing it, and they sang it like at that vigil. So like that carried on, that tradition that like was kind of forced and was like kind of lame and kind of cheesy as fuck. Like it actually ended up meaning a lot to some people that, you know, I don't even know. And that
it just became a thing cool. that you do at band.
Yeah.
Wow, man.
It's pretty cool. That made me feel cool. I was not cool, whatever, just like special. Cause you don't
impactful,
impactful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that really did impact some people. And that's the goal, man. That's the goal. You just want to make a good impact on people.
Yeah. And even if they don't know like that you're the one who started doing that, matter. Doesn't yeah, exactly.
Not concern at all.
Right.
I don't need to say shit. I don't need anybody to know that it was me. Just yeah, man, just to know they still sing that. And like in a moment where they were in a moment like that to bring that tradition in, you know, that tells you something. It really did mean a lot to them. Mm-hmm. So that's maybe like my best legacy so far, you know.
Wow. So that's quite the story, Scott, for sure. So yeah, I guess can you maybe talk a little bit about like how your interest in music and how that started and what it's meant to you throughout your life?
Yeah. I just have like an enormous amount of like respect and like love for like my ancestry, and like my grandparents and stuff like that. So my love of music is kind of like in the blood. My great grandfather came to Ellis Island. They were European Jews. They were not affected by the Holocaust. Like I don't think any of my family like died in the Holocaust. I think
you know from where your family came from.
No, just like general like Poland, like Eastern European area.
Because my family came through Ellis Island as well from Lithuania.
Dog, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's crazy. Mm-hmm. So my great grandfather, I think, was the first generation here. Maybe his dad, but whatever. And he taught accordion in New York City. And then my grandfather also kept teaching accordion in New York City. And then he moved down to Florida, like when he had a family, like when he had my dad was a kid. He moved down to Florida and opened All County Music in Fort Lauderdale. And then my dad bought the business from him like in the 90s, and the business has become, because of my dad, my grandpa opened the store, and like all credits to him, like he started it, he opened it, but the growth and like impact that the store has had like in the music community and what All County Music has become is like all my dad. Like he just turned that store into like a staple of Florida music. Like anybody, at least in South Florida, anybody that like plays is in band in South Florida and a lot of just Florida, like they know my dad, and they know his store. So music's in the blood. Like he taught music like me. Like he's a jazz guy. Like he could run a jazz clinic. He can teach jazz band. So I joined band in middle school, and I told you this last time, but like I didn't really want to do music. I really wanted to play sports. Like that's what I loved, was to play sports, but I was too small. Like I just like fell behind, like physically, where the physical gap was just too much for me to compete. So kind of as like a backup, like because I didn't have anything else, like I tried music. And yeah, man, like I said before, like I love my path. Like I love that that's what I had to do, because even though I could say, man, like I wish I could have played sports and stuff, which is true, but like I gained a really unique skill. You know, like I can play music, I can read music, I can so teach music, like no genius or anything, but I get it. Like I could help you out, you know? And I got to be a leader. I think that's like the biggest thing music gave me, was like an opportunity to lead and like be in front of a lot of people, you know, because bands are big. It's like, it's not even like a sports team. Like you got like 20 kids on your team. Like at USF, I had 300 kids in my band, you know, and like they all knew me, and I, for the most part, knew all of them, you know. Like I worked really hard to like maintain, to have relationships with like each one of those 300 kids. So yeah, man, music gave me an opportunity to lead. And now that I'm out of music and like I don't really have a way to like practice, like I'm not in a band or anything, music has kind of become something very personal for me, something that just like lets me, like now I picked up guitar and piano, and like it's just kind of therapeutic for me now, like getting to sit down with my guitar and piano and stuff. And so it kind of has taken on like a different form. Like it went from something that was very shared and like was for other people, to like now it's kind of just like
something
for
pretty
me.
personal. Yeah.
Like I get to just play guitar for myself, and I get to play piano like for myself. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah. What are you working on now?
Just playing, man. It sounds silly, but like, when you start instruments, like I think you're really bad at them. Like so people ask me like, I've tried to play guitar, like how do I get good and like keep playing guitar? I'm like, you just got to pick it up and like play and suck, and like kind of just accept that. So like I'm still not very good. So what I'm working on really is just like, I just pick it up and keep playing. Like just keep trying to get comfortable with the instrument in your hands, and keep trying to get comfortable like strumming the strings, picking the strings, pressing the keys. Cause like it's not easy, and it's not necessarily like comfortable to like hold a guitar and strum it and pick it and whatever. So I'm just playing, man. I just pick it up and I
keep going.
And I just strum and play. So
nice.
And I'm working on playing for my kindergartners.
Okay.
I do that too.
Yeah. Well, that's a good segue. So those kind of leadership qualities and finding like something that you like to do has led you to the teaching path.
Yeah.
How did we both? Well, did you have a marketing degree as well? You did marketing, right? Okay. So how did you go from business and marketing to finding a passion for teaching?
Man, it's crazy. Like, it's so funny how like wrong you can be. And no shade or anything. Cause like, again, like that's just my path. That's just like what I went through. But like, I look back at the kid that like went on an interview at like an ad agency, and I'm like, bro, like I can already tell you, you're going to hate it. And I did. like I was so uncomfortable, and like it just
Did you get that job, or
it was like an internship, and they gave me like a call back, but
Mhm.
I think by the time I left the building, I understood like
no way.
no way, no
Yeah.
way. It's just funny, like, you know, I remember talking to like professors, and like I remember a professor being like, do you want this? Like, do you want to be an ad, or do you want to be in advertising? And I was like, he's like, you can't think about it. It's either yes or no. And I was like, yes. And I just like said yes, like
Intense.
pressure, and like that's just what it was. It was like pressure to like pick something. And like, you know, at that point I didn't know. So
Yeah, who
you know,
really knows?
yeah, still don't know, but I just you just like take a step forward where you think will be good. And like at the time I thought it was marketing or advertising.
Mhm.
It's not. So anyways, I think when I was living in Tampa, like I started to just like get these thoughts in my head, and the thought was like that there are kids that need to be helped, and there are kids that like need to be saved, which sounds kind of extreme, but like that was like the thought in my head. It was like there are kids that like need saving. So
You were working. You had went like a traveling job right at the time.
yeah, I was traveling. Again, not it.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember talking to my dad, and he was like, he's like, okay, like where do you think these kids are that need to be saved? I was like, I don't know, like everywhere, but I think like I want to be in Michigan for it, which is like where my like cousins and some grandparents live. I just have family up here. So like I moved to Michigan with like a couple goals in mind. That like one I was just going to move to Michigan by myself, which is like kind of a goal and like a leap and a challenge like in itself. And then two was that I was going to like take a step into teaching, you know, just to see like if I would like it. So the first thing I did to try teaching was I became a sub. And
How was your first day of subbing?
My first day subbing was awesome. it was the best day of subbing that I had.
What happened on that day?
Crap. What happened on the day? So leading up to it, like the couple weeks, like I scheduled my first day like online. I was like, okay, like October 29th, like is my first day subbing. And leading up to it, like I'm big into like mantras and just like speaking things kind of into existence, and just using that as like a tool to prepare for something.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kept saying, I'm a teacher. Like I look in the mirror and just say, I'm a teacher, because I'm not, and I wasn't, you know? And I knew that I had to go in on that first day and like act like I was a teacher when I wasn't. Like I've never ever been in front of a group of kids in my whole life.
Isn't it crazy that you just say that you're something and then all of a sudden you are?
I became it, and I fucking was like, I nailed it. I nailed that. It was just like that day gave me so much like confirmation in myself that at least said like, okay, you're on the right path, man. Like,
mm-hmm.
like keep going with this. Like you're on to something. So that day specifically, I'll never, like I got notes that said, it was like, you're the best person ever, Mr. Schiff. Like, thank you for playing us music. Like, you're so cool. Never gotten a note since. But like
but that first day is a big day.
The first day I got like 6 notes. Yeah.
You'll get another note, Scott. I believe in you.
Yeah, now I teach kindergartners, so the notes are like, thank you.
That's all they can muster up.
That takes them like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyway, yeah, so that was my first day, and so really what it was just like huge confirmation to me, saying like, you're on the right path, man. Like keep going with this. You're onto something. Yeah.
Nice, man. And so what's the process now? Like you're in school for it as well, or?
Yeah, the process now is that I confirmed that I want to be a teacher. Through my subbing. I subbed for like half a year because I got like the last half of that year. And then this past year, like this coronavirus year, I was a teacher's assistant in a kindergarten. And I was paired with like an amazing teacher. We had a really challenging class, but like we killed it. We did as best as we possibly could with that class. And it was just to make sure. I was thinking like I should really do a full year in a classroom before like I decide like to go get an education and say I want to be a teacher. So that's, even though I was pretty sure, like I still thought it was smart to just do a full year first. So I did my full year. I mean, it ends in a couple weeks. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't be more sure, man. Like,
that's
so
exciting.
Yeah, it is. I'm so pumped to like know that. I don't know how they're gonna teach me, but like to be able to teach a kid how to read, that's like, to teach a kid like the most basic like foundation building blocks of like our human lives is something just like really special.
Yeah, if you thought you were impactful in band, bro, like get ready for even more. Like these kids are gonna remember you forever, you know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're so right. Like if that's what I'm after, impact, like
name something more impactful than that,
than
you know?
kindergarten
Yeah.
teachers, man.
Yeah.
Teaching this kid how to read. It's crazy.
Do you remember your kindergarten teacher?
I don't.
No.
So I guess she was nothing special.
Don't do Mrs. Johnson like that. You know she was impactful. Yeah, that's funny.
You?
Yeah, I remember. She's still kind of like, she talks to my mom every once in a while. That's really cool, man. And I'm glad that you like, because you know, like you said, like we've known each other for going on like what, 7 years now, like kind of going through that process of trying to figure ourselves out, and to see you find something that you're passionate about and excited for, like it's really awesome to see.
Yeah, man. I was a lost boy. Like I think everybody is, at least at some point. Like,
yeah.
And yeah, to have a direction like that, and to know that I'm on the right path, you know. And I don't even think I'm going to be a teacher forever. But like right now, I know I'm on the right path, and that, man, what a weight, weight. It feels really good. So,
what other interests do you have?
Music.
Yeah,
music. I know that's another one of my goals. Like I know I'll be. I always just like picture myself like as a lead singer in a band and stuff.
Dude, you're gonna make that happen too. I know you will.
I think so too. I got a good singing voice. It's coming along. I practice singing a lot, actually.
Do you have a band name ready to go?
Kids Said 7.
Kids Said 7?
Yeah, no.
What's the meaning?
No. There is no. The meaning is that I heard a kid in 6th grade say that his band was called A Kid Said 7, and that is in my brain ever since.
You're just gonna stick with that, just to stick it in that kid's face.
Yeah, it's my band now. So, like in 6th grade, he just said that like once, and for some reason, I just had that in my head.
Yeah, dude, you were quick with that. You've been thinking about it.
Really, dude, really.
Man, that's really funny. Well, I'm excited to see Kids Said 7 play at Red Rocks one day. So.
Ooh.
So do you have, from your time teaching and subbing, do you have like your most memorable day or most memorable moment as a teacher?
I think right now my most memorable moment, that was a burp, I'm not tearing up.
Excuse you. You can wipe the tears away, Scott. I won't judge you.
Right now, my most memorable moment, I think, was my last day I got to spend with my kindergarten class. You know, because that's still fresh, man, and like it's heartbreaking to like not get to see them again, and just like to not get any closure with that group of kids. So, I'd say my best memory with them is the last day I got to spend with them.
What'd you guys do on that day?
So the teacher, I was the teacher's assistant, so I kind of I was backup, but since the schools were closing, like the main teacher had like some last minute stuff she had to like take care of, and so I got the class, like I was the teacher, and like whenever she was gone for subs, like I call it like a Mr. Shift Day. I'm the teacher, it's a Mr. Shift Day. So I got the kids, it was like a Mr. Shift like half day before we left, and I taught them how to give compliments. They're 5 years old, man. I taught these kids how to give a compliment.
Well, how did you do that?
The main thing you have to teach them is that when you give a compliment, you say it to the person. You don't say it about the person, because they know how to say nice things about people. So when we started, it was like, it would be like, Nathan Yu has really cool hair. And I'm like, no. Don't say about Nathan Yu. Look at Nathan Yu and tell him, Nathan Yu, you have cool hair. And the difference between the two is like massive. And you can see it like in their faces, like they'll say like, oh, Frank has a cool shirt on. And like Frank's just sitting there like, and then and I'm like, no, like turn to Frank and tell Frank. So then they turn to Frank and say, Frank, you have a cool shirt on. And then Frank's like, their faces
lights up.
Yeah, they light up. Like giving compliments to people is like huge, and I could at least see it with kids. Like it means the world to them. Like they get so giddy and like excited, and it could be like about anything, like their shirt, like who cares? Like,
right,
like you have a cool shirt, and they're like, oh my god.
They love that. I mean, who doesn't love that feeling, right?
Yeah, getting complimented. So I think that I think it's one of my favorite memories too, just because it's like the last thing we did. So it's like a little bit sad to think, but like if anything, I'm cool that I left them with that. Like I'm cool that that's the last thing like I bestowed upon them before, I pretty much won't see most of them ever again.
Yeah. Well, they'll have that memory and that you made that impact on them, man. So that's really awesome.
Yeah. So I'd say that's my best memory right now.
Yeah. Right on. So this feels like a good time. We can hop into the one and only segment on Traveling Perspectives podcast. So if you remember the different like monthly questions that I've been asking everybody, so I got to ask Kana and Haley these questions as well. So the first one is, what was your first job?
My first job was at Parkland Golf and Country Club, and I drove called it the picker, and it's just like a tractor with like ball hoppers on it. So I picked up the golf balls on the range, and like other just like course mate, like washing golf carts and like washing rich people's clubs and like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. What did you like about working in the golf club?
Got to be outside, man. 100%. It got to be outside.
The best.
That's about it. Like I don't like golf,
right?
But I like being outside, and like golf courses are pretty. They're like beautiful outdoor spaces.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just being outside. That was the
All right.
best.
That's cool. So what topic could you talk to a group for 30 minutes about with no preparation?
I think I could give a pretty good presentation on breathing techniques. Proper.
Tell me more.
This is like something I had to do in band too. Was like give breathing clinics. And it's just what I would start with. Pretty much explain how we don't use our full lung capacity. You know, our lungs actually stretch like pretty far down into our sides, and they actually like wrap back into like our back. And we tend to just use like this very shallow top part of our lungs. Like we take like shallow breaths like that. So I would teach how to start a breath from the bottom of your lungs and fill them up from the bottom all the way to the top to get like the maximum. You know, we're playing instruments, so it's important that you're using quality air and you're taking in a lot of air so you can project your sound and actually play. So yeah, just using your full lungs. And what I would say, probably my best analogy or way to visualize it is to start your breath from the bottom of your feet, almost like the air is coming up from the ground and it comes all the way up.
I got to work on my breathing now.
Yeah, me too. I think we all do. I say that stuff and I still don't know if like I fully do it. I understand
right.
the concept, but it's very difficult, and yeah, man, it's not easy, and I don't think it's something that like most people do correctly, including myself.
Watch some YouTube videos on
it. Yeah. Like I was teaching what I was taught. But yeah.
All right, cool. And if you could only fly between two cities for the rest of your life, which cities would those be?
Probably just have to go home. So like Detroit to like Fort Lauderdale or Parkland, whatever. Because my parents are still there. So not that I really go there or go home or like want to go to Florida much, but
to have the ability to see your family.
Yeah, because there's not really any other places that I like want to go. I think I feel so like lucky and happy living in Michigan. Like I don't want to go anywhere. Like I'm good here.
Yeah, you found your home, bro.
Yeah, I did. I did. I think I'll teach here. I think I'll do a lot here. But yeah, so probably just go home to Parkland just to see my parents and stuff. Have that option.
All right, right on. So it's funny that you brought up legacy earlier, because this is something that I forgot to do actually when we went live, when we tried this the first time, because I want to end every podcast by asking everybody this question. And I've been thinking about legacy myself a lot lately, and what kind of legacy I want to leave behind one day. So I'm asking everybody, what do you want your legacy to be? And I know that's a big question, and if you need some time to think about it, we can.
I got you. I'm just.
Oh, yeah, I know process it. So, but yeah, what do you want your legacy to be?
Just for the kids, man. I think the kids are so underrated and so underloved and so under cared for, and like that doesn't make sense to me, bro, because like what is our most valuable asset as a society? It's the people. Like and to me that it feels obvious to like say like it's the people, and the kids are the mini people, man. Like they're the ones that are gonna be the people, and right now we treat them like they're not that important. So I think everything that I do, like professionally, whatever, for my life is going to have an emphasis on kids. Because they need it, man. They need some love. They need some attention. They need somebody to look at them and understand them and like really care about them. So yeah, man, for the kids. That's my legacy for the kids.
For the kids. I love it, dude. That's awesome. And I'm pumped for you to have found your like passion, and excited to see all the people that you impact in your life, man.
Thanks, man. Me too. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait to start teaching, man. Like it was cool this year to like be an assistant and be behind the scenes, but like I wasn't really a teacher. Like I didn't teach my kids how to read this year. You know,
yeah, but you're setting the base of like your experience, and you're gonna continue to build upon it. So
I'm so excited for that, to take the next step, where, because I know like I felt important and impactful this year, and I'm like, I can't wait to even take that like a step further, and like, man, to be the one to teach a kid how to read, that's crazy. That's like,
that's you, bro.
Special. So,
yeah,
I can't.
Well, awesome, dude. Thank you again for being, the Instagram live test subject, and
that was kind of fun,
for being on here for real this time. So I appreciate you, and we'll catch up soon for sure.
Thanks for talking. I love it.
Yeah. All right, Miss Scott. I'll talk to you later.
All right, peace.
Thank you so much for listening to the Traveling Perspectives podcast. If you want to see content from the project on any social media platform, all you have to do is search Traveling Perspectives. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.